technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever.
This is a PI Advice Podcast.
Yeah, boy.
What's going on, everybody? I always like to listen to that music a little bit longer than I should. It just seems kind of techy, so I don't know. I'm not a DJ. I don't know why I'm listening to it longer than I should. I don't think you guys want to sit and listen to that. Anyways, welcome to the Private Investigator Advice Podcast. This is Tech Tuesday, released on a Thursday. And really, I tried to get to it on Tuesday, and I just kind of got caught up with work. And, when a lot of cases come all at once, I'm like, oh, I got to get this done. And you worry about your schedule and what you can have time for. And then when you do probably have time to do the podcast, you're tuckered out. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. I've seen a lot of things on the interwebs where people are saying work is slow, and and then I hear from other people, no, everything's fine, business is great. So if it's slow, I hope it gets busy for you, whether you're working for a company or you're the owner. And if it is busy, I hope it stays busy for you. So, a lot of cool things have been coming out in regards to kind of like technology and equipment, and so I found a few things. I mean, this is going to be an incredibly long podcast, but I found some cool things I think you guys want to hear about. And with that being said, one of the first things I found was SanDisk announces a 128 gigabyte micro SD card. Now, if you're wondering what a micro SD card is, it's you got the regular SD cards that, they go in your video camera will take a regular one, or your digital camera. Your micro SD will go into your spy cameras, most likely the ones that I typically talk about on the website and stuff. So it's a really small one, and you can get the adapter for it and make it a larger one. But apparently, no one's made anything like this before. SanDisk is the first one, and apparently it's already in the stores too, and on Amazon. So I'll end up having an Amazon link in there if you guys want to click on that and get one of those. I think they were selling, on Amazon for $120, and they're going to be available at Best Buy as well. You can use these for your, I believe your cell phones. And many of the cell phones these days, you can put those in there. Tablets, of course, cameras, video cameras. One of the things I got excited about is I'm a memory card hoarder. I have a very difficult time letting go of. Even like surveillance stuff I did from probably, 5 years ago. I have a hard time getting rid of that video on the camera. Like, what if they need the original? What if they still need it? I don't even know. I always want to have that backup because things crash. Like, I had a computer that totally crashed. I had to pull all the data off of there. Another reason I like to hold on the memory cards is because when I record on my Sony camera, I can only review that video again, either on my computer when I've pulled it off there, or on the camera itself. If I want to pull the video off with a time shot, the way I do it using Pinnacle, I've got to have a Sony camera to do it. And I can't stick that same memory card into a Panasonic camera or a JVC and be able to review the video on there. It won't let me do it. Different technology, I'm assuming. So with the idea of these 128 gigabyte, I could go a year on one memory card without having to erase it. And I mean, $120 up front kind of sounds like a lot, but for me, when you buy like 10 or 20 a year, like, kind of start to think, well, maybe it is a good idea. I mean, for those who don't like to erase memory, like me, I think like a lot of people, I actually know one investigator who takes his memory cards and he saves them all. all his cases. He has he marks them down in an envelope, like all the cases that took place on that memory card, and he saves them for a later date. So if they ever need the original, download, they'll have it. My only concern is, eventually that technology, we're going to be moving on to other things, and cameras will break, and it'll be very difficult to find cameras that might match up to that, technology. I don't know. It won't work forever, but that's what he does. So with the 120 gigabyte, he wouldn't have to do. He could have 100 cases on there or something. So I don't know. Definitely something to think about. I thought it was very cool. I think when my daughter was born 9 years ago, I got my first. Shortly after she was born, I got my first digital camera. It was like I don't know. I've written about it before. It was a Kodak 3 megapixel. It was very fancy in my mind, and had the dock where you could print your pictures out right in there. I thought it was so cool. But then, even then, it was like you had, I think it was like 100 and, I don't know, what was it? 512 megabytes. That was like a lot. And that was like $30 for that memory card. And, of course, things have changed quite a bit over the years, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I was excited. Maybe I'm overly excited about that, but whatever. So, what else we got here? Another thing I ran into, and it was Gizmodo that reported this. There is a Bluetooth ear warmers on sale, and I thought that was kind of cool for you guys in the cold weather states, Canada and Washington might even. If you are listening to whatever on your phone, maybe connects to your phone, that would be kind of cool to be able to not have wires dangling down. It kind of even almost makes sense if I could do it for this podcast. That'd be nice to not always have wires. But anyways, they're selling for either $48 or $37 through Amazon, according to Gizmodo. Again, I'll put a link in there for you guys if you guys are interested in those. I just thought that was kind of neat. It's kind of dual purpose. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can connect them to your phone somehow, and be able to talk on your phone, but hear through your headphones. I know that I actually do that sometimes, where I'll have my phone, and I'll have at least the way I used to do it, and I'd put my headphones in there so I could talk to whoever I'm talking to. And I could hear him really well, and I would be driving. So I would be driving. So I would just hold the phone to my face. I'd be driving like this, and I could hear them, clear as a bell, and I could talk into the microphone on the phone, and that's how it works. So I don't know. Maybe you could do that too. I haven't tested it. I'm merely speculating on how that might work for you guys. Let's see what else we have here. We have Project Tango. And I didn't get a chance to read this until, let me take that back before we even go to Project Tango, because that's really kind of cool. I'm going to talk to you guys about, I re-reported this on the Private Investigator Advice website. It's a Boeing. How cool is this? For the true spy, right? It's a phone that will self-destruct if you try to tamper with it. So Boeing, out of all the companies, right? Apparently this has been rumored. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know. But when I saw the news reports come out for it, I was like, what? That's super duper cool. Boeing, so they build this phone. It's, and apparently they're really aiming it towards government entities, contractors of government entities. And they're going to have all the typical cool stuff in there, USB, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It's going to be, high tech in that regard. So they're going to have all the gizmos. And I think they even said they're going to have 2 networks on the phone to give you, I think maybe a closed network for government, and then maybe like a civilian way to call it. Don't quote me on that, but I thought that's how I interpreted what I was reading. The other thing is that, so if you try to tamper, right? Like if you try to tamper with the stuff, if you try to go into the phone and replace something, all the parts are non-serviceable. So apparently if you go in there and do anything, it's going to delete the data, and it's going to make the phone to where it destroys the inside of it, to where it's going to be a non-functional phone. So even if you get the parts out, everything in there's not going to work anyways. So essentially, securing the data in a sense of destroying it. So, I thought that was very interesting. I know more is going to come out about it. I posted some pictures on the Prime Investigator Advice website because they just filed for their papers with the FCC. So you know, and it's anybody can read about it. It's in there. It's the attorneys that wrote in there about the different aspects of the phone and what it was going to do. Check that out. Again, I'll have that in the show notes, and you can click on the link and see the insides of the phones and the guts and all that kind of stuff. The last thing is Project Tango. So as I was reading about this today, and there's actually a really cool video. Here's this thing, right? There's this technology that the Mars Mars rover up in Mars, it had this technology to map out kind of the land in Mars. Apparently, I don't have cable, so I didn't get to watch a lot of that. So this company called Movidius or something really fancy like that. So they have a similar technology, and they're putting it in this phone. And so I was watching the demo, I was reading about it, and so it's got three stupid thing. It's got three cameras. It's got a 4 megapixel camera. It's got an infrared camera, and it's got a tracking camera. And things kind of get really technical after that, but essentially, it will map the depth of the room through infrared. So in the video, you're looking at in your camera of your phone, you're looking at it, and you're like, and the things that are closer to you are warm, and the things that are further away are cold. That's how they kind of show depth in the camera. It also did some funky thing where it does 3D modeling real time. And I know we've talked about 3D modeling before. What if you could do that in your phone? How rad would that be? Yes, I use that word, rad. That's old school. Anyway, so I watched the guy. He literally was mapping out the room that he was in, with that phone. And I just thought that was neat. So what do we use 3D modeling for? I think, they kind of use it for, I know a lot of, I think it was crime scenes I can't remember what I had reported before in the past. It's escaping me, but police are going to obviously probably try to get their hands on this technology with phones, or maybe some similar device. They were mentioning something like, like planners and decorators and who else would they say? Builders and designers and all that kind of stuff had thoughts of using it. I thought that what if the security guys, like the guys who built like security for houses and buildings and, those high profile, security gigs where you're going to, cameras and whatever fancy security stuff that security guys do, that might be what they might use this for. How cool they could just walk through someone's house and map it out and then take that software, upload it into their computer and know, okay, well, yeah, we'll put our cameras here and our cameras here and, the sensors here, whatever they do. I don't know. I'm not a security specialist, but I'm sure if they're listening, they're like, yeah, that's what we'll do. But I don't know. I just thought that was pretty neat. You guys have a better imagination than I do out there, and I'm sure you guys could think of plenty of things to do with that. And if you own your own business and this comes to, the market eventually, right? Because right now I think they're opening it up for developers to make cool apps, which, that's what we need. We need those other people to build these things that make it applicable for us to use. And, anyways, yeah. So that's going to be it for Tech Tuesday, released on a Thursday. And I will try to get ahead again. I'm sorry, I kind of fell behind. Things happen. What else is going on? Listen, I've been hustling on the articles over at the Prime Investigator Advice website, over at PrimeInvestigatorAdviceHQ.com. You know that we have the videos over at you can search PI Advice in YouTube, but it should bring you right to the page of, we have like 62 videos in there. A lot of them are podcasts. A lot of them, there's like surveillance training stuff in there. There's surveillance tips, just spy camera reviews, go in there. And I got to speak with a recruiter the other day for a very large company, and I kind of got to pick his brain a little bit. We were talking about some other things, and I said, I took this opportunity to see if his thoughts on hiring were the same as the way mine were back when I had the opportunity to hire individuals and be a part of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something about it. So keep on the lookout. If you guys have questions, make sure you go to the Private Investigator Advice website. Use the voicemail things, majinger on the side. Click on that, leave me a voicemail. I'll play it on the podcast. Or just go through the contact page. Email me. I think it's at piadvicehq@gmail.com. Reach out to me if you have a question. Let me know. Some of you that have already emailed me in the past, more recently, I'm going to respond to you, and I'm probably going to try to tie it into some kind of blog, podcast, video, something rather, because there's always so many good questions coming from the listeners who are trying to figure out, like, is this the right occupation for me? And so I'm just doing my best to help you guys get your foot in the door somewhere, figure out if this is the right job for you. And I want to have fun doing it, and even if this isn't the right job for you, it sure is fun to talk about, right? Like the different technologies and things in the news. So if even if you just want to hear about it, this is the place to be. Alrighty. So anyways, I'm going to skedaddle. It's midnight on a Thursday morning, and I got to get this out to you guys so you guys can listen to it in the morning. So be safe, you guys. Stay safe. Get plenty of rest, and all that kind of good stuff. So anyways, you guys, I will probably talk to you in a couple days on some other episode. Take it easy.